text message phishing, Bing's misdirections, and Apple Vision Pro and Plex. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by Notion. Work faster, write better, think bigger with Notion. Learn more at notion.com/MacVoices. Another one that we want to warn folks about is this new iPhone text phishing scam. This one, I have to admit, I was reading this at dinner and I cracked up. Basically, it's well, I will read to you a sample text phishing scam. Okay. Your vehicle has an unpaid toll bill. To avoid excessive late fees on your bill, please settle it promptly. Thank you for your cooperation. Total amount, $6.99. Payment, and it gives you a URL. But now, this is the part that just fascinates me. In parentheses, please reply Y, then exit the SMS and open it again to activate the link, or copy the link to your Safari browser and open it. Is anybody, and people are doing this or have done it. And it's like, why would you do that?
Chuck,
help me, Jeff.
To us, it seems absolutely crazy that someone would do something like that. However, keep in mind that the average smartphone user, iPhone, Android, I don't care what platform they're on, they trust that their device is giving them legit information. So if they get a message that pops up and it says, you need to click this link, a lot of people are going to click it because they don't really understand what the message even says, let alone whether or not it's legit. And then also think about people that that maybe didn't grow up with technology, and as they're aging, they're getting into using a smartphone because it gives them a link into their family all the time. But this is like a totally new thing for them, and something pops up on their screen, and they have no clue what it says or what it means, but it says you need to tap this thing or do this thing, so they will do it. They just trust that their device is telling them what they're supposed to do. And then they get sucked into something like this, and then they're screwed.
Jeff, the thing, though, that got me about this, because we've all seen those, that you have a package that can't be delivered, or, the U.S. Postal Service needs you to click this link for something. But this set of instructions that is so specific about what you need to do, and there's something about the typing Y that seems to activate a security issue.
Well, sure. It's because when you reply, now your iPhone switches from this is an unknown sender to, oh, you must know this person. And so it's going to drop its guard, so to speak.
And I'd never noticed if hyperlinks are inactive until you give it that flag or not, but it might be that until you have flagged it as, no, this is not junk, this is a known sender, the hyperlink might not be active.
I haven't paid close attention to that, so
yeah,
you get so many of them,
because that would be an Apple thing to do.
The next time. Sorry.
Yeah, Jeff, test it for us. Just go ahead and click.
He gets 3 or 4 from a day.
What could go wrong?
Right.
The piece that I heard about this was that the scammers are focusing on larger metropolitan areas because with traffic and bridge tolls, it's easier for them to get a positive. If you tell me that last week I crossed a bridge in New York City, I know I didn't do that. But if I'm a New York City resident, there's a higher chance that I'm going to cross that bridge. So then the scam works. It's like, oh, you missed this toll when you cross the bridge, and they could higher chance that somebody that they're sending this out to has done that, and so it sucks them in.
Brian?
Yeah, I found that a lot of times, a lot of those text-based scams come from people who are trying to impersonate, a big popular bank or a business that a lot of people do business with. Really what they're doing, they're rolling the dice. They figure, if you look at a big monster mega bank, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, they figure what 1 out of every 5 people are using Chase. They figure if they just blast it out, they're going to get some bites.
Yeah. It's tough, I think. Well, maybe not with this group. I was about to say it's tough to think like a criminal, but with this group, maybe not. But just the thought that they put into some of these things, just like Marty said, okay, we're going to target people in New York City because there's a better chance they went across a bridge. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just normal criminal thinking, but it's scary. So, folks, again, please don't click links you don't know.
Please.
If you think there's something wrong, they will get in touch with you. Don't you worry. They will find a way to bill you, and it probably won't be by text. Next. Oh, David, this is for you. Bing is using tricks to make you think you're using Google on their search engine.
Oh,
Have
boy.
you guys seen this?
Not.
I did see that. I almost laughed about it, but yeah, it's pretty dirty. It's a dirty trick.
So occasionally I'll get emails about how I'm too hard on Microsoft or I'm too pro-Apple and anti-Microsoft. Again, go and read this article. And because if you're using Bing, and this apparently is designed principally for the folks who have Bing as their default search engine, which is the Windows users. And apparently a lot of Windows users will type Google into Bing search to try to get to Google. And where it takes them is a page that is not, it's still Bing, but it looks a lot like a Google landing page. And so you're still inside Bing. So Microsoft is still getting the tracking information, but you think you're using Google. So, corporate IT sheeple, wake up. This is the company you're trusting with your data. And this is the kind of tricks these are the kind of tricks they're playing.
Yeah, but for that brief moment, I can pretend I'm not on a Microsoft machine, that I'm actually on something else.
But Marty, that's the thing. You have made a conscious decision if you're on a Windows machine to try to go to Google, and they're hoodwinking you.
Yeah.
That's the part that really intrigues me. And by the way, Dave, just for you, today, if you look up Alex Lindsay's stream on Twitter, he describes Teams as a virus.
That's beautiful.
I'm not making that up. I'm serious. If I could figure out a way to link to that particular tweet, I would, or whatever you do on X. But yeah, he has some commentary on the quality of the video streams and the audio streams, which I absolutely heartily endorse.
I mean, he's
Brian,
not wrong.
No, he's not. Brian, you want to repeat that out loud?
Yeah, he brought the quote to mind, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
It's funny, Brian, because I thought that earlier when we were talking about the Dell naming scheme.
Oh, yeah, there you go, too.
There are times you just can't make some of this stuff up. You really can't. So what was that? Barry says, devil's advocate. Maybe Microsoft is helping protect their users from the Google tracking monster by keeping them in Bing.
If I disagree, does that make me a fanboy? Because I don't think Microsoft is going to do anything to. No, I don't think so.
Do these mega corporations really do things that are altruistic?
No.
Even Apple? No.
No. Not even Apple.
Hmm.
There's always an ulterior motive of some sort. I think, for my personal beliefs, Apple's ulterior motives more align with what I want to put out in the world.
Yeah. And Barry, you listen, it's a fair point, but if that's the case, then don't do it in a sleazy fashion. If you want to pop up a warning, say, do you really want to go to Google because they're tracking you? Okay, that's fine. I mean, in spite of the fact that Microsoft is tracking you, that I would not have a problem with that, because that would just be informative and self-serving, but informative. But here, when they're taking you somewhere that intentionally looks like you've actually gone to Google,
Yeah.
that's misrepresentation. Or worse. Maybe there's a worse word for it. I'd like to find it.
We
Barry,
know what the word
we all
is. You
figured-
just don't want to have to do edits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Barry says his tongue is halfway in his cheek on that. Okay. All right. But it's not an unreasonable question. That there's, if Apple did that, I don't think I'd bat an eye, because I would like to think that Apple would tell you, hey, are you sure you want to go here?
I mean, if Apple did it in a way that was explaining why, yes. But if Apple was just mimicking another website, I would have the same opinion of it that I do with Microsoft.
Yeah. Agreed. This edition of Mac Voices is supported by Notion. Work faster, write better, think bigger with Notion. Learn more at notion.com/MacVoices. You can try Notion for free when you go to notion.com/MacVoices. Notion combines your notes, docs, and project into one space that is simple and beautifully designed. That means fewer distractions jumping from app to app to app, cutting and pasting, and round-tripping, all in the name of productivity. Make notes, get organized, track your projects, manage your calendar, and a whole lot more right within Notion. But Notion isn't an island. Connect to other tools like Slack, Dropbox, and Zoom, so you can easily collaborate with others who haven't seen the light with Notion. The fully integrated Notion AI helps you work faster, write better, and think bigger, doing tasks that normally take you hours in just seconds. And who doesn't want to do things in seconds that usually take hours? Try Notion for free when you go to notion.com/MacVoices. That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/MacVoices, to try the new, powerful, easy-to-use Notion AI today. Try Notion for free when you go to notion.com/MacVoices. That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/MacVoices, to try the powerful, easy-to-use Notion AI today. And when you use my link, you're supporting Mac Voices. Notion.com/MacVoices. Thanks to Notion for their support of Mac Voices. Marty, this one's for you.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear about this. There's a new Plex app, I guess.
Video player, yeah.
Yeah, that taps the Apple Vision Pro. Have you played with this, and how do you feel about it?
Well, here's my challenge. I have a Plex server. I have absolutely nothing on it except the kinds of things that Plex does, that they put out on their device, their server by themselves. When Theater came out in version 1, I tried it and I thought, for me, there are better viewers on it, on Vision Pro. I know one of our listeners, I think it was Cletus, that said, and we all know Cletus.
Yeah.
Cletus said he really uses Infuse and prefers Infuse and I don't think he had tried Theater. When I go into Theater, it said, here are a couple of options, link these servers up, and then you're ready to go. And so I haven't really connected to it much with it. I didn't like Theater in version 1. I have Theater in version 2 now, and it doesn't seem to impress me. And this article has really made the rounds, and it really is strong, good press for that particular app. But you read the comments, and there are, I think, 8 comments on this article. Not so great.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, I did try it, and I actually was kind of impressed with it. I mean, I did. You have to pay $3.99. You get that's a lifetime, and connected connected my Plex server and was able to watch movies, and it gave me the very immersed video like we know and love. It goes all black and brings the screen up at you, and I actually liked it.
Okay. So do you feel like you could recommend it? I mean, Marty, I get the impression that it's not one that you could recommend. I don't know what to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, well, for me, it has a limited case use because I don't do a lot on Plex. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. But I do have a Plex server. I connect to friends' Plex servers, and I watched movies just to try them on both, and it was actually a very good experience. And it's really easy to connect your Plex account to the app, and it worked really well. I was actually pretty impressed. I mean, a lot of the videos that are going to be on Plex, there's not going to be anywhere near immersive videos, but hey, it's still a good experience with Vision Pro, I thought.
No problem with bandwidth and getting it.
I must have played the movie for about a half hour just to test it, and it was flawless.
Okay, good. Well, in that case, that's one more capability that has come to Apple Vision Pro.
Yep.
To drop back to the last article or last discussion, Barry put in the chat, and it's an interesting point. And he says, and if Apple made it easier to use any search engine as the default, not just the short list that are paying to be there. I don't know. And Barry said he wasn't sure either. Do all the search engines that appear in the Mac OS and iOS pay to be there?
I thought, and I could be wrong, I openly admit that. I thought the search engines that were there are the ones that Apple chose to include. Google is the default because Google is paying to be the default. Like
Right.
DuckDuckGo's on the list. I don't see any way DuckDuckGo could afford to pay Apple to be on a select list.
Yeah, Jeff, you're right. That was my understanding, is that they would be that Google pays, but I yes or no, I don't know about the others.
Yeah, there's one there called Ecosia that I've never even heard of. So I don't believe they're paying, but I also don't know why Apple locks you into those. I didn't even realize they did until I checked for myself. I can set custom search engines all day long in Chrome. Maybe it'd be nice if that was possible in Safari too.
Barry said that he's looking into Kagi, Kagi, after hearing the latest interview on Gruber's talk show. And I'm not familiar with that one at all.
That's a paid search engine.
Is it? Okay.
And what's cool about it is, since it's a paid search engine, you are no longer the product, so they're not mining what you're doing to sell to other people. There's some controversy around Kagi right now, has been for a while, related to the CEO, founder of the company, and some of his personal and political beliefs. But it's part of the controversy is, are the concerns legit or made up? And anyhow, for some people, Kagi is a great choice because it takes them out of the I'm the product in the search engine game.
Is that person you're talking about the one that Gruber just interviewed?
Yeah.
Why do you ask, Jim?
It was an interesting interview. I just literally finished listening to it last night. and I didn't know there was any controversy. They certainly didn't John certainly didn't bring that up.
Yeah, the controversy, it's been, well, I guess it flared up. Geez, time has become a blur. 2 years ago, a year ago, and part of it relates to a partnership with the web browser Blaze, and there's definitely issues with the founder of Blaze.
Is it called Blaze?
I can't even remember now because I played with it for a little while and then stopped using it.
I don't think that's what it's called.
Brave. It's Brave.
Yeah,
Sorry, Brave.
Yeah.
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 There's some connection between. I don't. Brave is they use Chromium.
I don't remember what the connection is, but there's some sort of business connection
Kagi
between
has
them.
their own browser,
Some sort of
called
partnership.
Orion. That's
And I'm sorry I can't give you more info because it's been so long since I was following that, and I have bigger things to worry about in this world.
Don't we all? Don't we all? Speaking of bigger things, I'm going to sort of insert a different article into here than the one I was going to do next. Whoops, shouldn't have put that there. Okay, but sort of along those lines, I'm sure you all saw that Sonos CEO Patrick Spence was leaving or stepping down or being thrown out. That's not the wording that I've seen, but because of the disaster that is the Sonos app launch, or the relaunch of the Sonos app. It just is, I think it's worth noting, that he's being held accountable, although there seems to be some question about whether his successor should also be held accountable as having at least as much blame. So I don't know. I've been following this story a little bit, not a lot, but you felt like it had to cost somebody a job somewhere.
Yeah, that app was pretty bad. I have a Sonos Move, and it was just getting more and more difficult to manage the device as they did the updates. So I agree with you. This was a mess, absolute mess. And interesting, it says leaving spare time with his family. I mean, it's an easy way to get out, I guess, without blaming him.
That's corporate speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course he is. I hope that they can get that straightened out, because that, some of us have, and I'm one. I have a fair amount of money invested in Sonos and Sonos App hardware, and right now a lot of it, it's either unusable or it's just such a hassle to use that I don't. I mean, Dave, to your point with the Sonos Move, I use it, connect to it through Bluetooth. I don't even use the app anymore. So I use it as a dumb speaker, which it's a great speaker, but for that price, I want a little more. Yep. Next up, this is one of those where we trend dangerously close to politics. So we're going to try to just take it from the tech angle, but there have been discussions on this show, and usually I'm the one that leads them, about it seems like the EU is funding itself, and some other countries now seem to be trying to fund themselves by fining big tech companies. Well, now the EU seems to be reassessing the big dollar tech fines in anticipation of Trump being inaugurated. Gee, do you think they might be afraid of him?
Yeah.
Maybe, but without diving into politics, maybe not for the reasons that some people would like to think.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff. Elaborate carefully.
When you have someone that you perceive as a loose cannon in a very powerful position, it puts you in a position where you have to be very careful about how you act and respond to things that they say or do. And I think there's a likelihood that a lot of countries, for whatever reasons, without going into politics, might feel that Trump is one of those loose cannons, and so they're just kind of taking a more no, they're taking a slower approach, a more cautious approach to how they do the things that they do, while they try and figure out how this loose cannon that they're seeing will respond.
I would agree with the assessment, Jeff. If I think back to, and this goes back a little bit, so hopefully this won't touch anybody's political views. But when Reagan came into office, he was seen as a bit of a cowboy, and there was a lot of concern about what he might do from a defense standpoint if somebody provoked him. So I'm wondering if that's sort of the same thing here. But I also think it's really interesting that the EU has been so high and mighty, and with all respect to our EU friends, because we've got plenty of them, but it seems like their regulators have been so high and mighty about, you can't do this, you've been doing that, and you owe us billions of dollars. And now all of a sudden, well, maybe it's not as bad as we thought it is. Or am I just selectively interpreting?
I don't think it's so much, maybe it's not as bad as we thought it is. And it's more of, look, it's as bad as we thought it is, at least from our perspective. But we better move slowly before we decide what to do about it.
Okay. I'll go with that. Anybody else want to dive in?
They need to contribute to the inauguration fund. Everything will be okay. The EU, I mean.
Yeah. Maybe we could put up a GoFundMe for the EU. Just a thought.
I thought that's what the DMA was.
Yeah.
Just a joke. I'm not being political. Just making a joke.
Jeff, you're not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole? Come on.
Nope. I avoid politics like the plague.
That doesn't hold as much weight as it used to. Look at the way, not just the United States, but the whole world did not avoid a plague. I think we need to come up with a new term.
Now, hold on. I said the plague, not a plague.
Okay. You redeemed yourself through semantics. Well
semantics.
played.
Yep. But I used to have a podcast called Semantic Violation.
I did not know that, but that's fantastic.
Many years ago when I was in grad school.
Wow.
How did I not know this?
I didn't know that.
I don't know, because I even mentioned it a couple of times when you and I were working together. But
well, then I will blame my goldfish memory.
There you go.
That's fair.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.